RPT, the most treacherous hood in the Bronx.
This gang would shoot at their ops in the vicinity of schools, MTA
Never
buses,
did that.
even in close proximity to Times Square. No regard for anyone in the area.
These defendants allegedly engaged in gun violence, committing 6 shootings, one of which injured a rival gang member.
What's the alleged information?
Clark referring
to
an
an
18-month investigation with the NYPD, arresting 21 men and 1 teen, members of the RPT organization from River Park Towers.
New York in general, but especially the Bronx, is a breeding ground for gang violence.
He need to blow his nose.
The Bronx is filled with various hoods, each claiming gang affiliations, and this leads to gang affiliations. Bloodshed. The subject of today's video is one of the most dangerous hoods in the Bronx and has been indicted by the NYPD on multiple occasions. The subjects of today's video are accused of committing multiple shootings across the city of New York and are even charged with mercilessly killing an animal. Aside from the violence,
mercilessly, ferociously, mercilessly. Mercilessly, without reprieve, unbearably, an unusual humid July morning had morphed into a mercilessly hot afternoon. In a way that has or shows no mercy. Oh, there you go. Damn.
They have also been accused of running a drug operation through their project buildings.
Drugs.
The subject of today's video is
Illegal
none other
drugs?
than RPT, and today we're going to be telling their story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. RPT, short for River Park Towers, is located in the Bronx, New York. It consists of 2 high-rise buildings, one that's 38 floors and another that's 44 floors. Aside from the buildings, RPT has pretty much everything anyone could need right in the community, so the people that live there never really have to leave. It has its own grocery store, has a playground, and even has its own basketball court.
And pool.
Although this may seem nice, RPT is still littered with gang members. Some of the most well-known gang members from RPT include the rappers D-Thang, Bando, T-Dot, E-Day, and N-Dot Spin-A-Lot. The gang members from RPT are primarily YG, standing for Young Gunners. The YGs from RPT are allied with the YGs from the 800 housing projects and the YGs from the Mott Haven housing projects. They are also closely allied with Drilly Gang, made famous by the rapper Lee Drilly. Some of the main sets that RPT beefs with include Highbridge, made famous by the rapper A Boogie with the Hoodie, DOA, made famous by the rapper K Flock, the OGs, made famous by the rapper Shaw EK, and the OY, who are actually from Harlem, New York, more specifically the Sugar Hill neighborhood. With all of this gang activity going on, it's no surprise that violence would begin.
The death, oh, I remember this.
Around 2014, one of the key figures of RPT was a guy named Man, real name Tyrone Felder. One day, he and 3 of his associates decided to go on a string of armed robberies. On August 5th, 2014,
he said and that was from RPT. He made RPT famous.
3 other men carjacked a man named Madu Kane in order to steal his cab. Man and his crew forced Kane to drive to an isolated street near Hunter Avenue in the Bronx. At this point, another carjacker pulled Kane from his vehicle, then Man walked up and shot Kane once in the back of his head, killing him instantly. Man's crew then used the stolen car to commit 2 armed robberies of businesses in Yonkers that night. Just 1 week later, Man and his same crew would try to do the same thing all over again.
Abu Korba.
On August 12, 2014, Man and his 3 associates from the previous robbery carjacked a man named Abubakar Ba in order to steal his car to use in robberies. When Ba resisted, Man shot him in the back of the head inside his vehicle on Bryant Avenue in the Bronx. Ba's vehicle careened down the street, crashing into parked cars before coming to a stop. Man and his crew pulled Ba's body from the car and drove off in the vehicle intending to commit further robberies. They soon abandoned the cab in their plans because they believed the police were onto them. Within days, authorities arrested all 4 conspirators. The 3 members of Man Man's crew pled guilty, while Man Man decided to take it to trial. Ultimately, the jury found Man Man guilty of all 9 crimes charged in this case, and he was sentenced to life in prison plus 34 years.
Damn. How the fuck that even makes sense? How the fuck you get life and 34? First takedown on RPT.
With these armed robberies and murders of non-gang affiliated innocent people, it comes to no surprise that the police were on RPT's trail. Eventually, the police would indict the RPT YGs and charge them with crimes committed from 2010 to 2014. These crimes would range from drug dealing to assaults to robberies and murder. 20 different RPT members were charged in this indictment. Despite 20 of their members getting locked up, RPT would continue to be active in the streets.
I see a story. Death of UE hybrids.
As I mentioned earlier, one of the main enemies of the RPT YGs is Highbridge. In fact, the creator of the YGs named Juhef was killed by a Highbridge member, so their beef is deep. On July 23, 2016, police received 911 calls about shots fired near 977 Anderson Avenue in the Highbridge section of the Bronx around 1:53 a.m. A member of Highbridge named Yui, real name Earl Simmons, was found with a gunshot wound to the head. Yui was taken to the hospital where he was tragically pronounced dead at just 24 years old. 3 men attempted to flee the scene in a car, leading to a police chase. They eventually crashed their car and were taken into custody to be questioned. A gun was also recovered at the scene. One of the men charged with this murder was an RPT member named Cream Hound. He was ultimately sentenced to 18 years in prison for this murder. Eventually, RPT would take a big loss of their own.
Not RPT, but yeah.
On April 7, 2020, a member of the Mont Haven YGs and close friend of many RPT members named Wu Lottie was walking through his ops territory in Harlem. He was in the territory of the OY, who are one of the YG's biggest enemies. Wu Lottie was known to put in work in the streets and was fearless. In fact, he was wanted for an attempted murder shortly before his death. As he was walking through enemy territory, a white car pulled up and 4 men on foot hopped out and chased him down. He was running away, but he tripped and fell. As he was on the ground, he was beaten with a metal trash can and broom, then stabbed multiple times. The group abandoned him on the street at about 12:50 a.m. with stab wounds to his torso and thigh. He was rushed to Harlem Hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead at just 17 years old. It's rumored that Wu Lottie was with a famous YG rapper named Shaw G's when this incident happened, so their ops constantly diss Shaw G's in songs and on social media, accusing him of running on Wu Lottie and leaving him to die. Wu Lottie was loved by all the YGs throughout the Bronx, so this loss hit them hard.
What would y'all do in that situation? Y'all just sit there and fight? Like, I look at it, bro. If they beat me with fucking trash cans and broomsticks, bro, me and him gonna ride out, bro. Like, if we 2 deep, bro, we can just ride out, bro. They 4 deep. They got a knife on them. You feel me? Motherfuckers gonna get stabbed, but at least we can fight off. Even better chance of both of us making it out alive.
The people responsible for Wu Lottie's death were ultimately arrested, and one of them was a known OY member named Rundown. Rundown was sentenced to just 7 years in prison since he was a minor at the time.
The attempted murder of Shai K.
One of the people the RPT hates the most is a rapper named Shaw EK. Shaw EK is a member of the OGs from Cortlandt Avenue, and they beef heavily with RPT. Shaw EK is one of the most disrespectful rappers in the Bronx and disses the dead in every song that he makes. One day, Shaw EK was shot, but he was able to escape and he survived his injuries. After this incident, members of RPT hinted on social media and in their music that they were the ones responsible for shooting him.
What the fuck?
Is that true?
Yeah, we know. What about my mother we know?
It is rumored that Shaw EK was actually shot by a dyke that's affiliated with RPT, so all of his ops make fun of him for this, as it is considered emasculating to get shot by a female.
Shaw EK got shot by a dyke. EK got shot in his head. I heard he got shot by a bitch.
He got shot by a dyke.
Eventually, all of this self-cinching would catch up to RPT.
Second takedown RPT.
Around late 2020 and early 2021, RPT really started to make a name for themselves in the music scene. Rappers like D-Thang, Bando, and T-Dot from RPT were all dropping music and reaching millions of views on YouTube. But you know, there's a famous saying that goes, there's no such thing as a famous criminal. The music that the RPT members were making shed a light on all of the dirt that they were doing in the streets, as they were openly bragging about committing crimes. They were even openly bragging about committing crime on social media. With all of this in mind, it's no surprise that they were on the police's radar. Ultimately, in 2022, RPT would be indicted for the second time, and over 20 of their members would be arrested just like in 2015. 23 of their members were taken down in a 65-count indictment with numerous charges including conspiracy to commit murder, attempted assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and they were even charged with animal cruelty for live streaming themselves killing a pigeon. One of their most well-known members, T-Dot, was charged with attempted murder, while other known members like E-Day and T-Mac were charged with brutally beating down one of their ops at the infamous Riker Island jail. A few members facing lesser charges in this indictment have recently been released, but the majority of them are still incarcerated. The most famous member of RPT, named D-Thang, was sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison and is expected to be released sometime in 2024. With a story like this, it's clear that gangbanging isn't worth it. All it leads to is death or prison. Especially in a place like New York that has cameras everywhere, you're almost guaranteed to get caught. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comment section, and please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
This wasn't a bad video. Couple mistakes here and there, but like, what was the point of Ulati and EK? Like, neither of them had anything to do with this video at all. Like, Ulati's from my haven, EK, that didn't involve RPT at all.